How you doing? Having a good day? I'm having an okay
Okay.
day.
So far.
Oh, oh, I was trying to talk to the fourth wall. My bad. That's cool. Hey, Cybersecurity Unfiltered podcast here. I have Bob. I have Matt. My name's Chris. Apparently, all of our company names and stuff disappeared from ours, but that's okay. We're here to attack another myth this week. The myth that we hear all the time: cybersecurity is just too blank expensive for us. I hear that all the time. That's one of the most common things that we hear.
Yeah, well, from a lot of people we talk to, paying anything is too expensive for us because they don't see value in it. Nor do
That
they
is fair.
understand what it takes to really keep them safe.
I had a plastic surgeon customer once, and they had all their stuff on site, and I was trying to get some cybersecurity tools and put in place. I was trying to get them to document HIPAA stuff and whatnot. And let's just put it this way: the two cars that his wife and him drove in cost more than the plan, and they didn't want to do it. The business that afforded them that, they didn't want to protect. And I see that all the time. And I don't know. I guess I struggle with it. Like, why wouldn't you do everything you can to protect the business that's your livelihood? So when you hear cybersecurity is too expensive, I think it's just really, they just don't understand it. They don't understand that because it's abstract, right? They don't understand the value behind it. It's kind of on us to explain that to them.
Yeah, because it really becomes down to that risk discussion is like, what are we protecting? This is, yeah, you've got insurance, but
Maybe.
what would happen to your employees, to your business, or your personal and your personal health if your company suffered a significant breach? I was at an event once where the guy was a victim was openly talking about what happened when the FBI came knocking at his door and said, "We've got evidence that your your systems are compromised." And the just the emotional trauma that this guy suffered during forget about the data getting out, but just trying to figure out what's going on in his company. Can he make payroll next week?
Yeah. What about, let's go a little lesser of an example. What about just sheer embarrassment? I've been involved in a couple of cases with one was a customer, one was a prospect, but both cases, the CEO, it was business email compromise. They clicked on something, they submitted their credentials, they stole their account, and they sent out hundreds and thousands of emails to people. And that's embarrassing. As a CEO of a company, it's embarrassing.
Sure.
But what's worse is when you're one of your vendors that you leverage to make, let's say, millions of dollars a year, sends you a third-party risk management form and says, "Hey, you need to fill this out or you risk losing our relationship." And then they scramble because they weren't doing half of what was in that list. I think I'm being too nice. They weren't doing 90% of the shit that was on the list. Yeah, there was like 10% that they were actually doing. And we'd had that conversation before. And the CEO is just straight up embarrassed. But unfortunately, sometimes we have to get to the embarrassment for them to take action.
Yeah. Well, and the first response is usually the emotional response, unfortunately.
Yeah. And the first response, if they don't understand something, is, well, it's too expensive. Is it? How much is your business worth? How much is your livelihood worth? What if we can take the risk over here, reduce your cyber risk, and make sure that your business is functional from a technology perspective, make sure you're safe, so you can take more risk to expand your business? How about we shift the risk? You're already risky enough being in business.
Sure.
At least let's minimize the risk on the cyber side so you can actually try to expand the business, make more money, grow. Although, let's be real, a lot of small business people don't want to grow.
Well, actually,
I'll say the quiet part aloud. So.
Expand a little bit on what you just said. So a lot of people's like, well, I could transfer the risk. I got cyber insurance for $2 million for my business, but no one looks at the policy to see what they need to do to really comply.
Come on. Nobody reads the Apple terms and conditions and Microsoft terms and conditions either. until
I believe there was a very
until
awkward South Park episode about that. But yeah,
until you need
I
to.
think they should do this for cyber now.
Well, it's a little late when they,
Look.
I think the Apple one even says if the battery blows up in your pocket, they're not responsible.
At all.
Well, not everything you put in T's and C's will go in court, and actually you'll win. So you could try that. You could terms and conditions. You could try that all day. And not everything. There's still legal precedent to it. But anyway, going back to that, it's great that you have cyber insurance. It's great that you try to transfer the risk. But if you're not doing everything that you said that they said that you needed to do, what if they don't transfer that risk? What if they just say no? And then they say you didn't do this, like maybe you didn't have multi-factor authentication for all your privileged accounts, which means you need to be able, all your administrator accounts in your entire environment has to have multi-factor authentication to it. If they can prove during an attack that didn't exist, they just deny the claim. Then you're left holding the bag regardless. So you thought you transferred the risk, you thought you saved money because it was too expensive, but then you didn't really do it. You just spent money on a policy that's just a piece of paper.
And the insurance company will gladly give you that money back and deny your claim.
Yeah. So, and then you're sitting there, putting your life back together, putting your business back together, because they're not going to help you. Yeah, if you can. We talked to a prospect earlier in the year. They got hit with ransomware at the end of last year. So over Christmas break, they hit with ransomware. And the owner of the company can't trust anybody else right now. So they initially were going to talk to us and then they kind of paused. From what it sounds like is they were doing business with somebody that they have been doing business with from an IT perspective for a long time. They had a lot of trust in that person. They had a lot of trust in that, if it was a team or whatever. That team failed them. And now that owner is out hundreds of thousands of dollars and can't trust anybody else yet. I don't know if there's lawsuits. I don't know if anything else, but that's where they were. They lost, I think, 2 or 3 months of productivity out of it. Luckily, they didn't lose the business. But
so I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. You guys might. People talk about cybersecurity is too expensive for us, and a lot of times, like you said, people have got fancy cars in the driveway, and it's much more than what they're spending. What should a business be expecting to spend based on, I guess, number based on revenue? Do we know?
You want the real answer? Well, hold on. Do you want? Okay, let's do it this way. Do you want the?
I want
which answer would you like?
Let it shout, let it all out.
What's the unfiltered Chris answer?
Okay, so it depends on your sector. What vertical are you in? What sector are you in? Are you in financial services? You're going to spend more because you have more to protect, right? You have personal information on people. If you're in manufacturing, you'll probably spend a little bit less. But in manufacturing, you have a higher risk because normally you have a lot of tech debt. You haven't updated a lot of times. You have operational technology like machines and things like that. You have information technology. A lot of people don't separate the two, which is a big problem. You're probably going to spend a little less than financial. A good barometer is 4 to 6% of revenue on IT. And then inside of that, you're looking, some people say as low as 10%. Some people say as high as 20%. I really think it depends on your industry, and you're probably going to spend closer to 25 to 30% of your entire budget on cyber.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you go to compliance, take that out of that and put that in the business as a business expense. It's 1 to 2% of revenue. Cato Institute, I think it was like 1 to 3% of revenue for compliance, a compliance program that doesn't go into the IT budget. That's business. It's a business.
That was last week's call.
Yeah.
That's a business function.
So you're going to spend money, but you need, and that's your, like, when we say 4 to 6% of your revenue on IT, that's everything. That's the software you need to buy, the hardware you need to buy, the services you have, the internet, things like that. Like if you hired one of us, our cost would go into that. That's what the average business does. Do you want to be average? Do you have more to protect than the average company? Do you think of your company as average? If you think of your company as average, that's probably a whole nother discussion we should have. But that's the average. Now, when you work with a IT provider, managed IT provider, managed security services provider, you're probably going to save money over what it would be to build everything internally. So that 4-6% should go further than it would by hiring your own team. But there are downsides. You're giving up having somebody on site all the time. Do you need that? And if you need that, that doesn't mean you can't work with somebody that's a provider. You could hire a resource internally and work with the provider, and they can provide some of the structure for that person. But if you're not spending that today, if you're not average, what are you doing? Do you have a budget? Because I can't tell you how many people I talk to that don't have budgets. Oh, we don't do hard budgets. Okay. Do you do soft budgets? Yeah. What do you spend? Whatever we need to. And then you give them a number and they're like, well, that's too expensive. Is it?
It's not really quantified though. If it's all soft, there's not really a analysis there.
What does a good business look like? A good business looks like you have processes in place, you have systems in place, your IT works, so your technology works, so your business can produce whatever it is, a service or product. Cybersecurity, so the IT part is all about keeping their business running. Cybersecurity is about protecting that, right? So if you're not having cyber attacks and your IT is running, look how good your business looks. Look what you can do now. You know you're covered. So you can spend that money, like I said, on growth. We are an enabler of growth in a business. It's just we do a shitty job of telling people that. We do. And people don't want to believe it because they look at IT and cyber and like, oh, it's just a cost center. Really? You want to run your business on paper and a pencil? You tell me how growth oriented you could be at that point.
Or everyone's dependent on that PC sitting on their desk or their cloud service at this point. So people don't put the value in there because a lot of times it just always works and they don't care. They don't think about it.
What outcome do you want?
Yeah.
Do you want to keep chasing your tail? Do you want to keep going with cheap? Do you really not want to spend the money and not know? Or would you rather have some sort of peace of mind and be able to know that, yeah, maybe I'm paying a little bit more, but I'm getting I don't have downtime in my IT. The cyber attacks are coming in are getting stopped. I'm getting reported on that. I'm able to focus on the marketing and sales of the business. I'm able to spend more money here to grow the business. Do you want that as your business? Or do you just want, I'm trying not to swear.
And with that, we've transitioned into the Chris's Rant section of the podcast.
Yeah. Do you want fucking chaos? I'll say it. That's the question. Do you want stability or do you want chaos?
But also, if the shit hits the fan, do you want processes in place for a recovery, for a solution?
Not only that, do you trust the person you're doing business with to actually pick up the phone and help you? Do you do something? If you're hiring a company, do you trust them that they're going to be there to pick up the phone? I just went to a prospect and he had scareware come up on his computer. You know, one of those things that flashes up there and says, call Microsoft, blah, 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 and all that BS. And the guy called the IT company. Took him 2 hours to call him back. This company is merged with like 5 other companies in this area. They're a large company. Took 2 hours to call him back. And then what they do, they go, oh, we'll run an antivirus scan on your computer. And then they never called him back. So he didn't use his computer the rest of the day. Came in the next day and was like, I hope it's done. And started working again.
Has no idea.
That experience is bullshit. Let's call it what it is. It's bullshit. That's not how IT services are delivered. But you want to know the secret in this industry? That's how 90% of the services that I see when I go talk to somebody are delivered. And I'll be honest, up until this point, I've been scared to say that we're better than that. We're so much significantly better than that. The three of us sitting here are better than that.
With little service many times.
Yeah. If you pick up the phone and you call somebody and you don't get somebody within like the first like couple of minutes, and sometimes things happen, but if they're not calling you back and that's a consistent thing, and it takes you
Something
7 days to get
is
something
wrong.
fixed. Yeah. You need to demand better. I'm sorry.
And that's part of the reason people don't want to pay for support, because they're getting crap support.
Yeah, and then they get like Stockholm syndrome and they're too scared to change.
Yep. All right.
There, you wanted to rant, I gave you a rant.
What can people do to get a hold of you to talk about this more?
If you DM me on LinkedIn, just don't put "hey asshole." Just put something else. I don't know. No, you can DM me on LinkedIn. Probably the easiest way.
Anyway, guys, let's wrap up this week, and next week we'll come up with another myth, or maybe we'll talk about AI taking over the world.
Oh, it's kind of a myth.
Or failing to. That's fun.
Yeah, it's fair. All right.
All right, bye,
See you guys
guys.
next week. See you.